So I've got a Christian McCaffrey update for you today on this rainy day in San Francisco. Golden Boy Pizza. Awesome. In between my little bar tour, but Christian McCaffrey, according to Jay Glazer, has a very slight, very minor, very small oblique tear. So he's still planning to play on Monday night against the Minnesota Vikings. And the wild thing is that you've got a lot of people on the internet who are suddenly medical experts, who are suddenly doctors. Oh, Christian McCaffrey shouldn't play. He's gonna make it worse. This is not worth it. These people have no idea what the diagnosis is. They have no idea what it means. They have no idea whether or not Christian McCaffrey might be able to re-injure himself. I'll give you a hint. The likely scenario here is that he'll be just as likely to suffer another oblique injury in week 17 if he does play. Otherwise, you don't get medically cleared to play, especially if you're a player that's just as important as Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. So I think it's time to relax with playing doctor. I get everybody wants their clicks. I get Christian McCaffrey generates clicks. I hope it's not in bad faith. I hope that there aren't people out there trying to set themselves up for an I told you so, because injuries can happen at any time in the National Football League. I made a little bar tour. First, we saw the Baltimore Ravens just absolutely kick the Detroit Lions' ass. I think it's safe to say that Detroit is not yet in the 49ers league. I don't see the 49ers losing any game by as much as Baltimore just lost to Detroit. And I swung by standard deviant. Still too early in the morning, probably too big of a blowout for that bar to be crazy. But then it upped in intensity. I went to our bar, which is a Cleveland Browns bar, and the Browns did end up winning. I was there before the Browns sealed the win at the very end, but I did see a Denzel Ward interception. The Browns fans, I mean, a week after beating the 49ers, they're going crazy, but they ended up winning 39-38, and that Browns defense didn't look nearly as good as it did against San Francisco the week prior. The Kareem Hunt run at the end is what had to do it. He got into the end zone by about 2 inches. But this stat, I think, is really, really telling if you're trying to make sense of that Cleveland defensive performance. Including the Browns win, teams now over the past 2 seasons are 3-18 in games played the week after they played the 49ers. So the 49ers will physically beat the crap out of you. They'll physically strain you in a way that other teams in the league don't. And because of that, you got a situation where teams lose. 3-18. They were 0-15 last year and 3-18 this year. Pittsburgh won in week 2. Then the Dallas Cowboys beat the Chargers after they lost to the 49ers. And now today, Cleveland, by the skin of their teeth, won this game against Indianapolis. But obviously the defense did not perform at the level that they did against the 49ers. And I do think that a lot of that might have happened because of the abuse they took against the 49ers the week prior. We're going to keep on tracking this Cleveland defense. I still think it's a really good defense. They gave up those 38 points to Gardner Minshew and the Colts, obviously, but we also have to consider the fact that every single team that plays the 49ers seems to struggle in one way or the other after playing the 49ers. And there have only been 3 wins in 21 tries the week after playing the 49ers for those teams over the past 2 seasons. Finally, I made it just in time to the Buffalo bar for their game against the New England Patriots, and it was an upset, and it was going crazy at the Buffalo bar, North Star in North Beach, up until they lost. I mean, they made the comeback, and I got there just in time for the comeback, and I saw this place. I mean, North Star is one of the best bars in San Francisco. They made this comeback, and then the comeback wasn't made. Then Mac Jones posted a career day against the Bills and beat the Bills late. And North Star went silent. So the Bills, I mean, this is a team with 3 losses, really good metrics, but 3 losses. Doesn't seem like they've had, I mean, you could say that they've gotten unlucky, whatever's happened to them over the course of this season toward the end of the games, but they haven't finished games the way that a great team should finish games. And they almost got another loss last week against the New York Giants. They got away with one there at the end when the Giants drove it down to the 1-yard line. So Buffalo's a really interesting team to me in that they're very dangerous, but they haven't quite shown that killer instinct on a week-by-week basis to get the job done. So the bar 2 through San Francisco was fun. It's going to continue here in the second half. I think I might go for a swim in the bay, even though it is a little rainy here in the city. I think the Seahawks are going right now against the Arizona Cardinals. Maybe we'll swing by Steelers and Rams and get a Pittsburgh-style sandwich. But this whole Christian McCaffrey thing, it's got to stop. I mean, people trying to play doctor on the internet. If Christian's up to play and the medical staff thinks he's up to play, he's going to play for the 49ers, even with a slight tear. I mean, people often, I think, too, hear the word tear and they get a lot more scared than the word strain. But a strain means a tear, too, right? So if it would have been classified as a strain by Jay Glazer, then people wouldn't have freaked out as much. But there is some muscle damage in the oblique area, and if Christian McCaffrey believes he can play, and I think all signs are pointing toward that. So fun day here before I leave the Minneapolis to be able to check out the team bars in the city. 49ers often play on Sunday, not this time. So even though it's raining, it's a good time to see how fans around San Francisco, a city of a lot of transplants, watch their teams. Monument to the city's firefighters, by the way, here at Washington Square.